Psalm 75:4. I said to the boastful, enough of the boasting, and to the wicked, how dare you raise your horn? You know, Scripture says that we shouldn't boast in anything but the Lord. That's because without the Lord, everything we do amounts to nothing. But through Him, what He's done, everything is blessed. Okay. Matthew 26:6-9. 26:6-9. While Jesus was at Bethany in the house of Simon the leper. Now Bethany is a city where Lazarus and Mary and Martha are from. So they're from this same city. So Simon may be related to them. That isn't determined, but they're in the same area. Now, at this point, Simon is probably healed by Jesus, but he's commonly known as Simon the leper, which shows that he was that way for a long time. And the fact that he's Jesus in his house probably shows that Jesus healed him a while back. And but it shows also that sometimes people will give us a label. And you know, when we come to Christ, we ain't under that label anymore. We're under Him. And what we used to be shouldn't matter to where He's taking us. Simon was a leper, but through Christ he's able to do a lot more than what he was before. A woman approached him with an alabaster flask and very precious perfume and poured it out on his head as he seated at the table. Now, it was common in them days to recline. Most tables were towards the floor. This is why washing the feet was important. Part of it is similar to us washing hands today. Of course, we can see this perfume is very valuable, very expensive. It would have been a lot. Most people wouldn't have had this thing. This would have been something luxury. It probably been something that was kept around from other generations, handed down. So it was something, a keepsake, a household keepsake in a way. So, observing it, the disciples said ignorantly, "Why this waste?" Now, some of these disciples are genuinely understanding this from compassion in their heart. Some of them are asking this to cause trouble. Sometimes God's going to do things we don't understand. God's going to do stuff that goes beyond what we think He should be done, but He has a purpose for it. Sometimes we see something happen and we see that God could have did something else there. But God's plan is beyond whatever we see. It's for everyone and includes everything. So what simple things we may see as a waste may be something that affects somebody else. Doing this was something she could give. And she may have not been able to serve the Lord in any other way. This is something the disciples would have seen. You know, when we come to the Lord, people may reject what we're doing, reject how we're serving, thinking what we do is a waste of time. But if our heart's into it and the Lord's drawing us that way, it doesn't matter what they think. It isn't a waste if He's leading us in that direction. This could have been sold at a good price and given to the poor. Now this is true. Sometimes what we could be doing is something else. But sometimes the Lord has us do what's not rational, what we don't see as rational, because it makes a bigger impact. The disciples kind of weren't truly understanding who He was when they were talking here. They were just simply looking at the value of this perfume. And oftentimes when we take Him out of the equation and think things different, of course we don't understand the way He's working. Because when we take Him out, then everything else is going to be confusion anyway. This is one reason why those of the world can't truly understand why we have a heart to serve Him, because they don't understand Him. Because if they did, they'd come to him. So, of course, the world's going to see it by this viewpoint and see that what we do is a waste of time. Because they don't know him. So that's all they're going to see it as.